So each country's problem is another one's problem. And therefore, when there is a country going through difficulty, it is only proper that all of us go to those countries' aid. Ghana has a very solid relationship with Cuba.
Yeah.
We have extremely solid relationship with Jamaica because a lot of Jamaicans have their roots from Ghana and sub-Saharan Africa. I mean, the name itself, Jamaica, is Jamaica. It's a typical.
Wow.
Yeah, Jamaica.
That is interesting.
I mean, if you look at the Jamaican flag, the colors of Jamaican flag, it's exactly the colors of Ashanti. So there is a co-relationship between.
And even the language.
I mean, Jamaica. That is it.
What does it mean?
You know, when they were. Jamaica. When they realized they.
Yaka.
Jamaica, yes. Yes, that was Jamaica, yes.
I thought
we might have been stuck.
Yes, I was just
stuck. Jamaica, so like leave it, let it be.
Going to their aid is more or less taking care of our own, and for me that is good. And it also begins to conscientize our people that we must not always be asking for aid. We have what it takes to extend aid. In fact, if we were going to have proper leadership in Africa, Africa must be the watchdog to the world. We must be feeding the entire world.
Yeah.
And not the other way around. So it's a step in the right direction. Hurricanes, if you have ever experienced them, it's terrible. Sometimes we live in a part of the world that does not face some of these things, so we don't see the extent of it. And that is why I keep praising our forebears. How they were able to fight for the better part of the world amazes me. You understand? Africa is the only continent that has all the natural resources that are saved with some of these hurricanes. It means our forebears were knowledgeable, they were strong, they fought for all the better lands in this world and gave it to us. How at a point we manage to allow others to turn the narrative to let us look down upon ourselves, to the extent that I just passed by the Canadian the Canadian embassy. Go and see the number of people there. They want to leave the land full of honey to go to a land that is full of winter. And now it's winter there. But why must they not leave? They have to run because the opportunities here are virtually non-existent. When we could create, because everything around us is money. And this is the only country that we have a housing deficit. The moment you start putting up houses, are you not creating jobs? This is the only country that we don't have good roads. So the moment you start constructing your roads, are you not going to engage more people? This is the only country that we import a lot of rice, sugar here and there. So by investing heavily in your agriculture, you are expanding the economy. This is the only country that we don't have a lot of hospital infrastructure. So by improving on your hospital infrastructure, doctors are going to get jobs, nurses, pharmacists, and so on and so forth. So the opportunities here, you understand? Filth all over. But filth is money.
Yeah.
You have a point. So it beats my imagination when leadership is not able to capitalize on some of these things to make our country great. This morning I was watching a video of the Namibian president, the woman, who is saying that henceforth Namibian resources remains the sole property of Namibians. And that under no circumstance must foreigners be the ones dictating. They come in all shades, they say foreign direct investment. That word I don't want to hear. Foreign what? So it means that if you were going to look at ourselves, if we were going to take away corrupt officials that will only think about the interest of the people of this country. That's why the United Party, anytime you say UP, you say Ghana first. All we know is Ghana first. To develop this country. So Cuba and Jamaica suffering from Hurricane Melissa, though the name is very beautiful.
Hurricane Melissa, there's one Katrina.
Angela and so on. The Melissa, they are destructive. Is that the way they do it? So you have to be careful with these Melissa. But Sudan, I believe that has to go beyond the usual aid, like PDA was talking about. It's a scar on the continent.
Yeah. Sudan
was part of the founding members of the AU or the OAU. They have played a pivotal role in the affairs of Africa. And we have the African Union. In fact, the distance between Sudan and Ethiopia is not far. The AU's headquarters is in what? Ethiopia. So, on what basis would African leaders every year, this year I'm sure they have gone, congregate, discuss, deliberate about the welfare of Africa and still have Sudan there? It tells you or it shows you how weak we are. The last time Trump was saying that Christians are being what? Massacred in Nigeria. Yeah. So he was going to fly all the way, some 12 hours to Nigeria to deal with the issue. When we have African Union, if it is a failure, which we believe is a failure, we must scrap it. Or better go to the founding principles of that organization. Put up a standing army. Do things together. It has shown, it has proven beyond all reasonable doubt that we can't do it alone. We need ourselves. Why must there be a Tanzanian standing here and a Ghanaian standing here? We see ourselves are different. The barriers, who created the barriers? Our adversaries, because they know that united we stand, divided we fall. So deliberately, they will let Ghana go to international negotiations alone and negotiate on our strength. If we take the balance sheet of Ghana, it cannot negotiate for any better deals for this country. As against the entire Africa going with the voice. A continent with a population more than 1.4 billion. Why must we be dividing ourselves? So that if I want to go to Cote d'Ivoire, it's terrible. And if you are attempting, make your mind that you want to visit Guinea and check the flight and see the number of days you will have to spend in getting to Guinea. When a direct flight would have costed, or you would have spent less than 2 hours getting to Guinea. It will take you more than a day. It's deliberate. But you cannot continue to blame the West for your nemesis. Because you have
the cost.
Absolutely. If it takes more than a day, meanwhile it takes less than a day to get to the US, it takes less than a day to get to the UK and all the world. Why must it take me more than a day to get to Guinea? So the African Union must be thinking, how are we going to do business together? We have launched the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. One of the factors dictating or working against the AFTA is transportation. Because African countries, we don't have transport or transportation of our own. So even the shipping lines here and there belong to the Europeans, and they're also using it as a tool. Why can't we do something on our own? That is why in our GTP, we said we're going to, as it were, introduce the shipping lines. The Black Star lines, we're going to bring it back. It is very important. So Sudan goes beyond the aid. The leaders of Africa must come together and go and solve that problem. They should get those two on serious leaders, Helmeti and then the other general. They are not generals. They are only there thinking about their stomach, and they are being used by the UAE and Egypt because it inures to their benefit. Most of their people over there are security personnel. In UAE, if you go to Dubai, a lot of the police people you see are Sudanese. If you go to Abu Dhabi, they are Sudanese. Then Egypt also have an interest in the Nile. Right. So long as you continue to fight, it creates that, it benefits them. So what would you profit? The number of people who have fled, go to that for people who are starving to death. Is that what you pride yourself as being a general? But these interventions can only be done by the African Union. And the African Union can only operate effectively when we eschew corruption, greed from our body politic. I'll end it here.
Right, thank you very much, Solo. But this will be to both of